Let's see how this goes. Alright, here we go. Let's see how this goes. This is my first attempt at a Facebook Live, I think, ever. So, hello everybody, I'm Adrian. If you're here, you're one of my friends. You should know that by now. What you maybe don't know is that I am taking a yoga teacher training course. This summer, I had a lot of opportunities that I was hoping to do with med school, where I was going to be out shadowing and seeing a lot of different physicians. And unfortunately, with COVID, all of those plans kind of evaporated. And so I really wanted to try to find something that was going to be positive and give me some structure to my days. And my sister convinced me, maybe convinced is a strong word, but suggested to me that I do this yoga teacher training class with her. So I have. And as part of the class, we have to do a series of 6 one-hour lessons, and I've been recording them for later for our med students to just have in a vault. But I'm getting ready to record the 3rd one, and I figured I would go ahead and put it out here for whoever wants it. If you want to join me and be here with me in this time, that's fine, and if not, no worries. So I'm gonna get going. If you have any materials that you've used in the past, if you've got a mat, if you've got blocks, if you have a blanket, I'd encourage you to go ahead and grab those now. Otherwise, if you can find a soft spot somewhere in your home, that'll work just fine too. We'll see how this recording goes. I don't know about the rest of you, but this last week for me has just been a long week. So I'm hoping that I can spend a little time today just de-stressing and being here with you all for a little bit. So, whenever you're ready, if you've got your mat, go ahead and find a nice comfy seated position. I like to sit up on a blanket because it elevates my hips just a little bit, makes it a little more comfortable for me to sit here. If you've got a pillow that you have on your couch that you never use and you want to use it for this, that's a great option. Or if you're comfortable just sitting on the floor, that's okay too. Whatever is most comfortable for you. Telling you, being hunched over my computer chair all week has done a number on my back, so we're gonna open up our backs a little bit this afternoon. As you're ready, just settling down into those sit bones. Maybe your hands are on your knees, maybe they're up, maybe they're down for grounding, maybe they're just seated in your lap. Any of those is just fine. We're going to start to bring some awareness to our breath. Don't have to change it at all. Just start to be more aware of it. If it's comfortable for you, feel free to close your eyes. Just start to deepen that breath a little bit. Just try to take a deep breath in all the way to the belly. And as you exhale, push that air all the way out, bringing that belly button back towards your spine. Deep breath in and out. In. Maybe this time as you breathe out with a sigh. In. Really make some noise on this exhale. It's relaxing, you gotta get some of that noise out. In the next few inhales and exhales, notice where your shoulders are. Invite those shoulders to slide back down on that exhale. start to invite a little bit of movement here in our spines. We're going to tilt forward, coming all the way back. This is called Sufi grind or Siri Om, depending on what you're familiar with here. As you come back, really rounding that back out. And as you come forward, bringing that sternum, those collarbones, all the way forward. So rounding the back and extending it forward. Or arching, whichever word you like there. Inviting some breath here with us too. So inhaling as we come forward, exhaling as we go back. As you're ready, switching to the other side. Again, inhaling as we come forward, exhaling as we go back. Notice what part of your body this feels best in. Maybe it feels really good to involve your shoulders here. Or maybe you're just focusing a lot on that lower back. For me, I know it's that mid-lower back. Again, just kind of hunching over all day the keyboard. Should really work a little bit on my posture, but here we are. Oh, and as you're ready, slowly making smaller and smaller spirals till you're back at stillness. Alright, checking that out. We're going to move into our tabletop position yet, so that's on hands and knees. Again, if you'd like to put something under your knees, like a blanket, just to help with the pressure. I know that's very helpful for me and my knees. Thank you, drum corps. So we want our knees to be directly under our hips. Our hands are nice and spread out. Hands are directly under our shoulder blades. And then we're just striving to have a nice neutral back here first. Maybe you find some forward and backward motion here. Maybe kind of look over one hip, look over at the other hip. We're going to move into cat-cow. So on your next inhale, we're going to inhale, lift the head, lift the hips, drop the belly to the floor. And exhale, arching the back all the way up, belly button to our spine. We're really stretching out here. Inhaling, belly drops, head and hips up. Exhaling into that cat, arched back. Now finding your own breath here as you move through the cat-cow. Maybe you keep it nice and slow. Maybe you want to speed up a little bit and take it a little faster. Whatever's most comfortable for you right now. Just warming up that spine a little bit. Do 2 more of those. And meeting back in that neutral position. I'm going to find a little bit of forward and backwards motion here in my hips, just as I prepare to do the first child's pose. So I'm going to take my big toes to each other. I'm going to spread my knees to be about my mat's distance apart. I'm going to hinge at those hips, take them all the way back, stretching my hands out in front of me, bringing my head all the way to the floor. Welcome to child's pose. Your head doesn't come all the way down to the floor, which is just fine. You can always put a fist or two underneath that. Whatever's most comfortable for you here. Moving back forward into our tabletop position, we're going to find our way to our belly next. So our feet are back behind us. We're going to zip up those legs. We're going to do our first slight back bend of the day into cobra. So our hands are up by our shoulders. We're going to inhale and lift our head and our chest off the mat here. Our hands really aren't supporting us here. We really want to use those back muscles in our first back bend of the day. Your next exhale, releasing that back down to the floor. Maybe you massage your forehead out on the floor a little bit. On your next inhale, inhaling, head nice and long. Our neck is nice and long. Our hands could come up off the ground if we wanted here. And exhaling back down. I'm going to do one more of those. If you'd like, you can do that same pattern, which is called a baby cobra, or if you're ready, if your back's feeling comfortable, you can push all the way up into a full cobra. So here we go. We're going to inhale, either baby cobra or all the way up into that full cobra. And take a few deep breaths here. On your exhales, really letting that lower back release. And on your next exhale, coming back down to the floor. We're going to push up into our down dog. So tuck those toes and lift from the hips to the sky into our first down dog of the day. Guess I shouldn't assume. Maybe it's not your first down dog of the day. It's definitely mine. You can kind of pedal out those back feet a little bit. Stretch can be a little intense if you just try to hold it right in the beginning of the day. If you want, you can kind of crouch down here, lift those hips up, and then straighten back out the legs. You should really feel this stretch all the way through the backs of your legs. And we're going to look forward towards our thumbs, walk our feet up to our thumbs, and fold forward here into our first forward fold, or Uttanasana, if you are familiar with the Sanskrit at all. This is not meant to be a leg stretch, so feel free to find a little bit of bend in your legs. And just relax your head and shoulders, your upper back, your lower back. Maybe you kind of cross your arms and just let them dangle. Shake your head, yes and no. Make sure everything is nice and loose here. And when you're ready, placing your hands on your shins and walking your hands all the way up. Big inhale, up and over your head. And let's exhale, hands to heart center. You might see a girlfriend or a dog pop into the frame here. As we're here in our pose of stillness, I'm going to be very thankful for this householder life. You're not monastic. And so we've really learned to adapt yoga to this household life. And I like to invite whatever form of yoga is around me today. So I'm grateful that I have a lovely partner and a lovely dog here. And I invite you to take this time just to think about what you're grateful for this afternoon. Take a deep inhale up and exhale down into that forward fold. I'm gonna roll up from the spine this time. Big inhale all the way up. We're gonna leave our hands up this time. And on your next inhale, twist to the left, really reaching those hands up and overhead. And exhale back to the center. Inhale up to the other side, really reaching. This makes me look a lot taller than I am. Exhale back to the center. One more of those. Inhaling up to the left, really stretching up through those fingers. Exhaling to the center. Inhaling up to the right. Exhaling back to center. We're going to bring our arms into our cactus arms. Do the same thing. Inhaling to the left. And exhaling back to center. Inhaling right. Exhaling back to center. One more of those. Inhaling left. Exhaling back to center. Inhale right. Exhale back to center. I'm going to shake that out just a little bit here. This next move comes from us from Qigong, so it's not actually a yoga move. This is called Willow Tree. So we're going to keep our feet a little wider than hips distance, and then we are going to rotate from our hips up, letting our arms swing from side to side, however they might. Letting that back hand make contact with our back. This one feels really good on my lower back. It's almost like a massage. Maybe you explore with your hands here. Maybe bring them up to your chest or to your shoulders. And maybe you prefer to really just keep it in that lower back. Again, for me, my lower and mid back need a lot of attention after a full week of studying. But maybe it's your hips, maybe take it a little lower. If this is too intense on your knees, for some folks it is, you can also lift that back heel and invite a little bit more movement there. That's an option. I prefer to keep my heels on the ground because I feel like for me, it gets just a little bit more of the twist I'm looking for in my upper back. But whichever feels more comfortable for you is the right way for you to do it. All right, bringing that slowly to a pause here. Shaking out anything left this morning that feels goofy for you. Maybe grabbing a quick drink of water if you need one. It's a call out to me. I definitely do not drink enough water in a day. We're gonna go into some lunge poses next. So if you have yoga blocks, I would really recommend you go ahead and grab those. If you don't have yoga blocks, I know the toilet paper is not in as high of demand anymore. You could stack 2 toilet paper rolls on top of each other. I found growlers are actually about the right height. Maybe that stack of books that you paid a lot of money for in undergrad. Whichever of those you're feeling, we're gonna set those back up by our feet here. We're gonna start with our right foot. So we're gonna take our right foot back and we're gonna release that right knee to the ground. Soften that back right foot. We're gonna invite our hands to find our blocks here as we start to straighten that back leg and find the bend in our front left leg here. So this is our low lunge, Anjaneyasana. I'm still working on my Sanskrit, so if there's anybody out there who can help me with that, I greatly appreciate that. We're gonna find a little movement here. So as you inhale, we're gonna straighten that front leg, hinge back at the hips into our half splits. Ardha Humanasana. Humanasana? I think that's right. Exhaling forward back into our low lunge, bending that front leg. Trying to keep our chest up nice and tall here. If you want, you can actually take your hands up and over your head, or you can keep them here on the blocks, either way. Your next exhale, bending back, hinging at the hips, trying to keep that right hip forward, inviting our left hip to come back. And exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, back. Take that left knee back by your right knee. Then we're going to invite our right foot forward as we switch our sides here. So our right knee is bent. Same thing, we want to make sure that our knee is over our ankle. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We don't want it to go past our ankle because we're not trying to injure ourselves here. So knees right over the ankle. Spine is nice and long. Your next exhale, exhale back into that half split. I'm going to invite my front toes to come up, point towards my forehead here. Just gives me a little more stretch. Like I said it wrong earlier, exhaling forward, inhaling back. Exhale forward, really stretching out those hips, letting that left hip come forward, right hip goes back. And one more of those. So go ahead and bring that back knee back. I'm going to bring my hands to the ground as I come all the way up to a standing position. I'm gonna move those blocks. I'm gonna shake out my knees a little bit. Those ones are a little harsh on my knees, so sometimes I'll use the blanket for those as well. Just really listen to your body in yoga. If you're doing something and it does not feel good, do not do it, okay? Yoga is not supposed to feel painful. Okay? It may stretch, you may feel some stretching, but if you ever feel any like sharp, stabby pains and you think, well, that's the pose and I really need to get into it, just invite you to explore that thought process a little bit. Yoga should not hurt. You're ready to move into some sun salutations. So I'm going to talk slowly through the first set of sun salutations if you're not familiar with them. And then as I do a few more, I'll go a little bit quicker through the cues. So we're going to come all the way to the front end of our mat here. Going to take a nice deep inhale in. Hands come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Coming back for a moment, whatever you are grateful for this afternoon, or maybe if you are someone who's familiar with yoga, if you have an intention that you've set, coming back to that here. And inhaling up. This time as we exhale, we're going to dive all the way over into our forward fold. Feel free to hang here for a moment if you'd like. Maybe shaking that head out again, really relaxing that upper back. We're going to invite our hands to find the floor, and we're going to step back into a plank position, one foot and the other foot. And then from here, if you want, you can do a couple push-ups just for fun. That's your sense of fun. Then you can either chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, the ground, and lie down. Beautiful feeling, just to release to the ground. Gonna place our hands by our shoulders. Inhale back up into that baby cobra we had earlier. And on our exhale, we're gonna exhale and push all the way through into our downward dog. And maybe you invite a little bit of motion if those dogs are barking. And looking towards your thumb, walking forward to your thumbs, into that forward fold, and inhaling, coming all the way up, hands above our head, exhaling, hands to heart center. Catching our breath here before we do a few more of those. Going to start to move at a slightly quicker pace. If you're familiar with sun salutations or there's a different variation you prefer to do, please feel free to go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we are going to go ahead and start with our inhale all the way up. Exhale, diving forward, hands finding the mat. Inhale as we step back into our plank position. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes into down dog. Look towards your thumbs and inhale as you walk forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up and over. Exhale, hands to heart center. Breathing here. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, into our plank position. Exhale, knees. If you want, you can do belly, chest, chin. You can do a chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, down dog. Tuck those toes. Hips to the sky. Inhale, walking towards those thumbs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands come up. Slight back bend. Exhale, diving to the floor. Inhale, one foot then the other foot back. Exhale, knees, belly, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, maybe you go full cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, looking towards those thumbs, walking or jumping to them. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Just connecting. Maybe you notice your heart rate's a little higher now than it was before. Connecting those thumbs to your sternum, really feeling that heartbeat. And on your next exhale, shake it out. Doing good, y'all. Again, this is another quick place if you want to grab a quick drink of water, feel free. Hi, Cater. I don't know if you're still on here, but everything is doing great here. You're wonderful. I miss your face. I hope to see you back in India at some point here soon. All right, we're going to do some standing poses next before we go into our warrior poses. So we're going to invite our feet to be about shoulder width apart. Our hands are going to relax to our sides, palms facing forward. We're going to move into our mountain pose. We're going to build that from our feet up. So really maybe pick up your toes and put them back down. We want our feet to feel very grounded here. So feel all the corners of your feet making firm contact with your mat. We're going to engage our muscles on the way up. So we're going to engage our calves. We're going to feel our kneecaps lift. We're not going to extend our legs or hyperextend our legs. We do want our knees to be active. Thighs are active, pulling up our pelvic floor muscles, activating those. Activating our core muscles, our chest muscles, our arms. Nice, firm pose here. This is the mountain pose. But really extending through the crown of your head and at the same time pushing those feet down into the floor. Really taking up the space. If somebody were to push you here, you should stand up nice and strong. If I have any of my band folks on here, right, that's the band director's dream, coming past you and everything's engaged. Nobody's wobbling side to side. And exhale, relax. We're going to move into our tree pose next. So we're going to start it that same way. So really feeling the connection in both feet. What I want for you to do is I want for you to just start to shift your weight over into that right foot. And invite our left foot to slide over to it. Maybe your toes stay on the ground for this. That's just fine. Maybe you bring them up to your calf. We just don't want them to rest on the knee. That's a lot of pressure on the knee there. So you can either go calf, or if you'd like, if you want to pick that foot up, place it all the way up at your thigh. That's just fine too. I'm going to grow some branches. Maybe your branches are wide. Maybe they're tall. Maybe you choose to remain in prayer position. Any of those are lovely branches today. And bringing our hands back down to our hips. Gently letting that left leg back down to the ground. And shaking out both legs, especially that standing leg. Can get a little intense on those legs. Same on the other side, so we're not super imbalanced here. Maybe just notice how your sides feel at this point. It's kind of that strange sensation when you've only worked one side. So find that stability in both of your feet and slowly start to shift your weight over into that left foot. Inviting your right foot to slide over. Okay, maybe your toes stay on the ground here. It's totally fine. If you want, maybe they explore up to your calf. You need to skip that knee area, but if you'd like, you can place that foot all the way up into your thigh. If you'd like to grow some branches, maybe they're the same branches as earlier. Maybe they're a little different branches. Finding a focal point out and up to stare at, just to help with our balance here. Really activating all the way through that standing leg. Letting our hands find our hips, slowly releasing that right leg back down to the floor and shaking it out. Woo! We're gonna do a few more on your legs here. Forgot to tell you it's leg day today. Okay. All right, we're gonna come to the front of our mat. We're gonna invite a couple warrior poses here. So we're gonna step back with our right foot. I like to do a high crescent lunge variation. So that means I like to keep my back toes up off the ground. If you're used to the warrior one where that heel is down, that's fine. I'm gonna opt for this version today. So both my toes are on the short side of my mat. Back leg is straight, front leg is bent. And I'm just gonna invite some motion here in my front knee before I go into a static pose. I like to invite a little bit of dynamic movement before holding a static pose here. And as you're ready, coming into that bent knee, inhaling, hands up and overhead, like we're holding a beach ball. Careful they don't get too close into your head. Letting those shoulders drop down the back into our full expression of Warrior One. Really engaging both feet through our thighs, through our core, all the way up. This is another one of those poses where you just take up space. This is all your space. Really fill it with your presence. Exhaling, bringing those hands back down to your side. Inhale, step forward. Shake it out. As you're ready, we're going to take that left foot back now. Whichever version of Warrior One. I'm in the high crescent lunge variation, so my back left heel is up, front right leg is bent. Okay, notice I don't let that knee go past my ankle. I'm not trying to have any of those injuries. Finding a little bit of movement here in that front leg. If you'd like, I'd recommend inhaling as you straighten, exhaling as you bend. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. Staying down in that bent position, inviting our arms to come up and over our head like we're holding a large beach ball. Gaze is up, shoulders are relaxed. Full expression, Warrior One on the other side. Full of deep breaths here. Really pushing through the ground, both legs, and nice and engaged. Exhale, hands come down to hips. Inhale, stepping forward, shaking it out. So you're ready, we're gonna find a nice wide stance here. So our toes are pointed towards the long edge of our mat. We're going to invite that left foot. I'm going to start on the other side now. Can't get too comfy on one side. Plus I'm lefty, so I've done enough righty starts for y'all. We're going to do a lefty start now. Inviting those left toes to turn towards the short side of the mat. If you can, peek down at your foot. Make sure that front left heel is in line with your back right arch. Okay? We want to really have that alignment here in this pose. Same thing, inviting a little bit of movement into that left knee. Exhaling down, inhaling up. Exhale down, inhale up. Exhaling down, inhaling up. Your next exhale, staying down with that bent leg. Inhaling our arms up to the side. Our gaze is over our left middle finger into our expression of Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Hips are towards the long side of your mat. Gaze is over your left hand. Legs are engaged. Pelvic floor is engaged. Core is engaged. On your next exhale, straighten that left leg and heel toe it in to the center and shake out those legs. All right, same thing on the other side. Find a nice wide stance here. We're gonna turn that right toe out. Finding a little bit of bend and straighten here in this knee. Check to make sure that that knee is going straight over your toes. Sometimes it likes to curve in. Maybe even put your hand there just to invite it to stay towards the outside. Hips are towards the long end of the mat. You hear that click in my right ankle? And on your next exhale, keeping that front right knee bent. Inhale, arms come to the sides. Gaze is over that right middle finger into Virabhadrasana 2. Warrior 2. Make sure those feet are engaged in the floor. Ankles, calves, thighs. Pelvic floor is pulled up and in. Core is engaged. Nice strong arms. Shoulders are relaxed. On your next exhale, straightening that front leg and heel toeing in. We're going to start to find a little bit of flow in with our Warrior 2 real quick here. But I wanted to build those poses before we had a little flow. So we're going to go back to our wide stance, turning that left leg out, inhaling up into Warrior 2. We're going to exhale and come into our Peaceful Warrior or Reverse Warrior. So that left palm is going to flip and come up over our head. Right palm drops. You can put it in front, behind, or you can rest it back down on your leg. Any of those is fine. And exhale, Warrior 2. Inhale, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, Warrior 2. More of those. Inhale, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, Warrior 2. Staying here, but we're going to drop that left arm to just above our left knee here. We're going to inhale and sweep that right arm up and over into extended side angle pose. So we've got a long line from the tip of our middle finger all the way down to that back right heel. And exhale, Warrior 2. So our flow, we're going to inhale up into Peaceful Warrior. Exhale into Warrior 2. Inhale into extended side angle. Exhale into Warrior 2. Inhale, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, Warrior 2. Inhale, drop that left arm, extended side angle. Exhale, Warrior 2. 2 more of those. Inhale, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, Warrior 2. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, Warrior 2. Inhale, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, Warrior 2. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, Warrior 2. And shaking out those legs. Happy leg day. All right, let's even this out. So finding our wide pose again. This time inviting that right foot to turn out. Double check that heel arch relationship. Arms up into Warrior 2. We're going to inhale into Peaceful Warrior. So that front hand, the palm's going to rotate towards the ceiling. Back hand drops down. Can drop to that leg again. Can be in front, can be behind. Exhaling, Warrior 2. When we inhale, we're going to drop that right arm just above the right knee and sweep the arm all the way across our body here into extended side angle. Oh, take a couple breaths here. Really feel that breath all the way down that left side. And exhaling, warrior two. Here we go, let's find our flow. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, warrior two. Two more. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, warrior two. One more. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, warrior two. And relax and shake out those legs. Whew. Anybody else sweating? Just me? Grabbing a quick drink of water. Alright, got one more pose before we go down to the floor here. So I'm going to do a wide-legged fold. Just to stretch out the backs of my legs just a little bit here. Just find a nice wide stance. Your toes can either be pointed forward, or you can actually angle those toes in just a little bit if you'd like. And we're going to hinge forward at the hips, leading with that sternum. Arms coming down to the ground. Releasing our head, neck, shoulders, and lower back. Just releasing into this pose. Inhale, walk your hands over to your left foot. Exhale to center. Getting a phone call. If you haven't already, inhale to your right side. Exhale to center. And really using those core muscles, hinging again at the hips, coming up, shaking out those legs. We're going to move down to the floor now. So whichever way is comfy for you, finding your way down to the floor. We're going to start with our half dragonfly. So I'm going to take my right leg out in front of me. Hopefully you can see that all right on the camera. My left leg is bent into that right thigh. I'm going to keep my back nice and tall. I'm just going to hinge again at those hips. This is a very slight stretch. We're going to keep our back nice and straight and tall for this. Okay, we're not going to release into this pose. We really want you to explore that short distance if you keep a straight back. Maybe it's only a couple inches, that's totally fine. Really think about lengthening the back and exhaling, just leaning ever so slightly forward. I like to tent my fingers in front of me just to have a little more support. And swapping legs. Left leg comes out in an angle, right foot in the right thigh. And leaning from our hips, keeping that back nice and long. Left toes are flexed. Fingers kind of tented out in front of you. You can use your fingers to walk forward a little. Again, keeping that back nice and tall. And relaxing back into that. We're going to move into butterfly, which is one of my favorites. If you are a North Posey person, you know that this is something we did all the time in elementary school. So our feet are together. It can be wide or pretty narrow either way. Relaxing those knees down to each side. You can kind of flap your little wings just to get comfortable with this position. Holding on to our big toes. We are going to release in this one. So on your next exhale, folding originally at your hips, and then letting your whole upper body fold forward. Really relaxing over those toes. few deep breaths here. Let every exhale take you a little deeper. And slowly sitting back up. We're going to swing our legs over, if they're not already, to the long side of your mat. We're going to do a bit of a seated twist here. So we're going to bring let's take our left leg in. Our right leg is out and flexed up. Left leg is in. If you want, you can actually cross that left leg over the right. It's totally up to you. Wrap your right arm around that left leg. Left hand tense back behind you. And invite your seated twist here. On your inhale, think about lengthening that spine up. And on your exhale, ever so slightly deeper into the turn. And gently coming back to center. Letting your left leg come out, right leg come in. Left arm wraps around that right leg. Right hand tense behind you. Inviting your gaze back over that right shoulder. Again, inhale to lengthen that spine up nice and tall. Exhale into the twist. And coming back to center. We're going to do just one core strengthening exercise today. It's called the boat pose. So our knees are going to be bent in front of us, feet on the floor. Our hands are going to come back behind our knees. We're going to invite a slight lean in our upper back. Then as you're ready, you can pick one or both feet up off the floor. Okay, if this is enough for you, this is fine. If you'd like to go a little further, take those hands out from behind your knees and invite them to the side, or maybe up, maybe between your legs, into boat pose. If you notice, maybe the camera's far enough away, but I shake all the way through this pose. It's totally fine. If you're shaking, miracles are happening. That's what one of our yoga instructors likes to tell us. Don't forget to breathe through this pose. And as you're ready, hands find the backs of the knees, feet gently to the floor. And we're going to relax all the way down to our back here. And barrel rolling over onto our bellies. Ugh. Do one slight counter pose as a back bend here. So bringing our forehead to the floor, I'm just going to turn so you can kind of see me. Our hands are down by our hips. Palms are facing forward. Some of you will know this as the locust pose, if you're familiar with yoga, or you may have heard it called the Superman pose. The next inhale, we're going to peel our head, our shoulders, our chest, our feet, our knees, our thighs, all off the ground, so it's just our hips on the floor here. Holding this position, and exhaling, relax. Do two more of those. Inhale, peel your upper body, lower body off the floor, pointing those toes. Invite your gaze to be down at the floor so we can really lengthen that spine out. And exhale, relax. One more of those. Inhale, peel head, shoulders, chest, feet, knees, thighs. Gaze is down at the mat. Toes are long, crowns extended. And exhale back down. Alright, rolling back over onto our back. I'm going to invite our knees to come up to our chest and just hold them there. Move your rock side to side, maybe making circles with your knees, massaging that lower back, and the sacrum out down there, just rolling it out. Inviting those feet to come to the floor. Still knees are bent. We're going to work into our reclined pigeon pose next. If you'd like to do a full pigeon, if that's in your practice, feel free to do that now. Otherwise, we're going to talk through the reclined pigeon. So knees are bent. We're going to take our right foot and cross it over so our right ankle is just above our left knee. If you want, you can push out that right knee to really feel that hip stretch. If this is really pulling for you, please stay here. If you'd like to invite a little more stretch, you can pick up that left foot, interlace your fingers behind the knees, and really pull that knee in towards you. Both feet are flexed or dorsiflexed if you're one of my med school friends. And exhaling, releasing that left foot to the floor. Switching sides, so our left ankle crosses just above our right knee. In a figure 4 pose. If this is enough for you, please stay here. If you'd like a little more, picking that right foot up and inviting that to come in closer towards your chest. Really trying to keep our shoulders on the ground, head and shoulders on the ground here. Feet are flexed. Notice if you were able to go farther on one side from the other. It's not right or wrong, it's just kind of fun to notice. And as you exhale, bringing that foot down to the ground, other foot to the ground. Extend both legs out in front of you. We're going to bend that right leg, and we're going to let it fold across our body towards our left side. If you want, you can take that left hand and put it towards that knee, reaching out with the other hand, maybe looking over at that extended hand. Trying to keep both shoulders on the floor here, really breathing through the stretch in the lower back. Coming back to center. Straightening out that right leg, bending the left leg, letting the left leg come across, fall over that right hip. Maybe your right hand finds that knee. Left hand extended out. Gaze can be wherever is comfortable for you here. I like to gaze over that left hand. Few deep breaths through the back here. And exhaling, moving back to center. Got one more pose before we go into our Shavasana. So we're going to do our Banana Asana. So we're going to make an X with our body in the 4 corners of our mat. Take your right foot and cross it across your left ankle. Take your right hand, grab that left wrist, leaving your hips and your shoulders where they were, making a banana shape with your body. I love Banana Asana. Inhaling all the way through that side. Exhaling all the way through your ribcage. Moving back to our X position. Taking our left foot, crossing it over our right ankle. Left hand finds our right wrist. And breathing all the way through the left side of our body. Back to our X, and inviting your hands to come back down to your sides, preparing for Shavasana. If you have a blanket and you'd like to cover up with a blanket, or a pillow you'd like to put underneath your head, feel free to go ahead and grab those. If there's any other poses that we didn't hit in the set that your body is really calling for, go ahead and do those now, and then we'll all meet in Shavasana here in just a moment. As we're all making our way slowly into Shavasana, perhaps some of us are already there. I want to invite those shoulder blades to come down and back. Allow our hands to rotate up, or they can be flat on the ground, whichever you prefer. Our gaze softens. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes. Letting your feet relax and drop to the sides. Relaxing your ankles, calves, knees, thighs. Relaxing those pelvic floor muscles, your ab muscles. Relaxing your chest and your shoulders. Relaxing your upper arms, your lower arms, your wrists, your palms and your fingers. Relaxing your neck and your throat. Relaxing your tongue and your jaw. Relaxing all your face muscles, including your forehead. Letting those eyes sink back into your skull. Relaxing the scalp. And inviting those nice deep breaths all the way down through your body. Notice the coolness of your breath as you breathe in, and the warmth that you release as you breathe out. If you find thoughts popping into your brain, just welcome them with kindness and invite them to leave on the next exhale. Focusing back in on your breath. As we gently start to invite ourselves back to our body, invite some movement in your fingertips and in your toes. Let that movement spread to your wrists and your ankles, maybe to your elbows and your knees. As you're ready, Providing slowly a little more light into your eyes. Bringing those knees up. Just moving them slightly side to side. And we're just going to roll to our left side here. Bringing our knees to the side into a bit of a fetal position. Just feeling really grateful for our body today and letting us do this practice. As you're ready, using your arms to push you up, back, into a comfortable seated position. I want to thank you all so much for taking this time to be with me today. Incredibly thankful for everybody who's been a part of this journey. And thank you for letting me use you as guinea pigs today. I hope that you enjoyed it. And thank you for taking this time for yourself today. For carving this time out just to be with yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed that session. Hopefully it was a good time for you. Thanks for being a guinea pig. I really appreciate it. Definitely feels uncomfortable putting this out there on Facebook Live for everybody, but we're all stuck at home right now, and I think it's important to share what we can. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully the med students enjoy these once they're all up. We'll see. I think they'll enjoy them, I hope. Alright, I'm gonna end this. Thank you all so much. Bye.